coats, designer suits, and all casual wear. Now through Sunday, shop online and in-store, only at Men's Warehouse.
My son needs this drug. I hope it doesn't cost too much. I hope my insurance pays for it. Can you tell me how much this will be?
67.
Sorry.
Wait, have you heard about GoodRx? GoodRx finds free coupons to help you save up to 80% on your prescriptions.
How? I had no idea.
GoodRx. Stop paying too much for your prescriptions.
Fact is, every insurance company hopes you drive safely. But Allstate actually helps you drive safely with DriveWise. It lets you know when you go too fast and brake too hard. With feedback to help you drive safer, giving you the power to actually lower your cost. Unfortunately, you can't do anything about that. Now that you know the truth, are you in good hands?
I see what's possible instead of what's here. Others see cracked concrete, run-down courts. I see a way to bring pride back to communities. That's why I made Project Backboard and a site with GoDaddy. How will you make your mark? Make the world you want.
Welcome back to our coverage of the U-20 World Cup. We are on to the knockout stages. It is a round of 16 clash between France, one of the pre-tournament favourites, and the United States, who finished second in their group stage. I'll be a match commentator, Keith Costigan, joined by former US international Maurice Edu. Mo, what are some of the keys for the US to provide what many would feel would be a shock and knock out the French and move on in this competition?
Well, first and foremost, they have to answer some questions. They have to show that this team has the depth that we all talked about beforehand, with a couple key players missing, and then we just need to see a little bit more consistency. This might be a game where they don't get to dominate as much, where they don't have as much possession. How do they react to that? How do they respond to that? And are they equipped to come out and come up against a star-studded French team and show that they have the merit to be on the same playing field?
You just mentioned missing a couple of key players. Chris Durkin, Alex Mendez are both suspended today for the US. Tab Ramos says both individually and at some stage in the tournament have shown to be indispensable to the team, but he did say this is the U-20 World Cup. This is the top young players in the US, so it gives someone else that opportunity to step up and be a hero today as well.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the playing of the national anthem of France. Szanowni Państwo, prosimy o powstanie. Przed nami hymn Francji. And now the anthem of the United States of America. Przed nami hymn Stanów Zjednoczonych.
US, we've already mentioned, without two key players in midfield. But Paxton Carmichael, the captain, is available today. The US, not as prolific in that last game against Qatar, and looking to get back to the form of those opening two games, although a loss to Ukraine, were very dominant in possession in that one. For France, well, so many changes. Again, they have one of the deepest squads in the tournament, Mo. Talk about their starting 11.
Yeah, a very deep squad, and they've showed it off through the course of their first 3 games. But in this lineup, Dan Zagadou playing center back, the captain of this team, a man who has much experience playing in Dortmund, leads that back line. Youssouf Fofana and Michael Cuisance in midfield, dynamic players who can get forward. Cuisance has already chipped in with a couple goals, as has Fofana. And up top, Amin Gouiri, the man that scores 2 goals in the group stage, is looking to lead that line and create space and combine well with Moussa Diaby on that right wing.
And most of these players already with first-team experience. Cuisance playing in the Bundesliga with Borussia Mönchengladbach has been very good to watch going forward, and he's one that Tab Ramos singled out in terms of trying to stop them setting the tempo today. Timothy Weah, once again, well, he started the tournament as a number 9. He's moved out to his perhaps more favoured wing role, and that's where he'll start today. France coming off that victory against Mali, another team who've been very impressive in this tournament so far. The US not necessarily going defensive, though, with the absences of Durkin, the holding midfielder, and of Alex Mendes as well. They brought in a very attack-minded Richie Ledesma as well to this starting 11.
And I like that move by Tab. It showed that he has confidence in his group, he has confidence in his players, and more so confidence in the system that they want to play. He's talked so much about how they want to dominate games with possession. I'm curious to see if they're going to have a lot of the ball in this game, and if they don't, how do they respond to that? How compact are they defensively? How much aggression are they showing? Look at the size difference there between Zagadou and Pamukal. But this should be an outstanding game, and a game where the U.S. should feel confident that they can get a result and move on to the next round.
In the video assistant room, we've already had use of that in a couple of games so far in the U-20 World Cup. Here is that starting 11 for the U.S., and there is that midfield with Savania, Carmichael, and Richie Ledesma all starting.
All guys that have a lot of attacking qualities. Brandon Savania is going to be the one that's going to be sitting a little bit deeper and asked to put out fires, do the defensive dirty work. Behind him, he has Chris Richards, who's been solid all tournament long, leading from that back line. And up top, the front 3 trio of Tim Weah, De La Fuente, and Soto. De La Fuente's been a little bit indecisive in the final third. I think there's still more that can come out of him. But you've seen quite a spark there from Soto coming in, hold up play, creating chances, doing the dirty running sometimes. They're going to need a lot of those front 3 today.
Bernard Diamed, he was part of the squad for France in 1998 that lifted the Men's World Cup, so vastly experienced as a player, and trying to translate that to this team in this tournament. And it's France who kick things off, attacking from left to right. 3 straight wins for the French. Captain by Dan Axel Zagadou, who's already got a couple of years experience with Borussia Dortmund at the top level of the Bundesliga. Right away, it's the French in possession. That ball played forward, looking for Amin Gouiri. You mentioned already, Mo, he's got a couple of goals on the tournament. They've been very good going forward in all 3 matches. Zagadou for Boubacar Kamara. I've seen the French toy with 3 at the back at times. Certainly looks like they'll go with 2 centre-backs today. Cuisance, very cultured left-footed player in midfield. Well, going back to Alban Lafont, another goalkeeper who's got so much first-team experience already. Well played forward and headed clear by Gloucester. Nice little touch by Ledesma. Pamukal trying to break through. Strong challenge from Pamukal and Basila. And the fault with the clearance. France with a little bit of space here for Moussa Diaby. Another man who's already been in the first team at PSG. Diaby driving forward on his left foot. Nice little ball. The ball comes back for Cuisance at the edge of the area. That left-footed effort. You don't want to give him too much time in possession. Well, the early running here over the first couple of minutes from France. Tab talked about wanting to be a team to dominate possession. Is the message a little bit different to his starting 11 come into this knowing how dominant the French can be on the ball?
It is, but you still have the same mentality that you do want to dominate the game, just knowing that there might not be as much of an opportunity, but there might be spells, as you see in this opening couple minutes, where you have to defend, you have to be compact and allow yourself to have the opportunity to play. But now when you do get the ball, the ideas are still the same. You want to be clever in possession, create opening, open up space, penetrating balls like that one there by Pomykal, who I think is going to be, who has a key role to play in this game. They missed him tremendously against Qatar. His creativity, his ability to play that final pass and to get on the ball and really dictate the tempo. But the themes are going to be similar. He still wants the team to come out and play. You've seen the lineup that he's put out there.
That was a nice ball forward for Sebastian Sota just a couple of moments ago. Coussons. Back for Dan Axel Zagadou, who's a real man-mountain. Had a difficult spell towards the end of the season for Borussia Dortmund, most notably in that big loss to Bayern Munich, where he had a couple of mistakes, but he was up against Robert Lewandowski, so that can happen to a young player.
And he'll learn from that. You know, he's, as you said, he's still a very young player coming up against very experienced players, and there's no better lesson and no better way to gain experience and to move on and grow from such situations than to be put in difficult situations. So he's in a good run of form right now. He's confident. He's the captain of this squad for a reason. And defensively, France is going to lean on him heavily for this game.
Very comfortable playing out of the back there, weren't they, the French? Marcella, again, Coussons. Marshalled very closely by Brandon Savania. Loidis. Coussons, lovely little ball for Diaby. One pocket of space in front of the centre-backs. Diaby driving forward, still he goes. Richards comes across to meet him. Diaby comes back out. Evan Ndicka, another player you can watch in the Bundesliga with Eintracht Frankfurt. A very good season after signing for a team that had a great run in the Europa League. Diaby, very active with his movement so far. Nice little touch coming off Fofana. That ball back for Brady Scott.
Keith, I'm curious to watch how this central midfield trio for the U.S. plays out, because as we mentioned beforehand, I think naturally they all have somewhat of attacking instincts, and in that last couple of sequences you saw them get caught flat, and that's the last thing that can happen. You need that balance of one sitting a little bit deeper, the other two having maybe a little bit more impetus to get forward and press the attacking players from France. But when they get caught in that flat line, one penetrating ball cuts all three of them out of the play. So they have to just be aware of that, communicate well, make sure that they're aware of each other's movements, and play off of one another.
And once again, Alex Mendez and Chris Durkin both picking up yellow cards in the last match, meaning they're both unavailable for selection today. A real blow for Tab Ramos on this US group. Lafont. Nice ball forward again. Coussons. Close control from him, but again it's Savania very close, but too close according to the referee. It's going to be a free kick for the French. Zagadou over this one. And the French are former U-20 World Cup winners, that coming back in 2013. You might know one of the players that played in that group. He was given the golden ball that time, Paul Pogba. He's gone on to have a decent enough career.
Heard that name before somewhere? It's been whispered here and there, you know, in small circles, right?
Absolutely amazing, the amount of talent in the French national system. Zagadou back for Lafont. A bit more pressure there from the US, making it more difficult, forcing French to knock that one out of play. Serginho Dest with the throw in, well won by Ndicka. That's a bit of skill from Pomykal. Keita, the Columbus crew man. It's back for Scott. A little bit more direct, looking for De La Fuente. That's going to be a difficult matchup on that side in terms of an aerial threat. Evan and Dick are very proficient. And again, the header won by the French. Moussa Diaby. Back for Fofana. Nice little touch inside and lovely change of attack onto this right-hand side. Ball played in by Aloui. It's another opportunity, and that one closed down well by Gloucester, but you can just see how quickly the French can move and switch the point of the attack. Nabil Aloui, very talented attacker. As is that man, Moussa Diaby. Corner kick will be taken by Coussons. I was going to take it, but slowed it down after the runs had been initiated. Zagadou, an obvious target. That delivery in, and Scott electing to punch. We have seen that from the goalkeeper so far. Guri. Aloui won back well by Serginho Dest. Weah. Good challenge coming across from Boubacar Kamara. Pomacao looking to switch the point of the attack. Can't get beyond the not man, Thomas Bassia. Looking for the ball forward for Diaby. These two teams have met just a couple of months ago, Mo, and Tab spoke to us about that. The game ended 2-2. He said it was one half dominated by the US. He said the second half, the French brought in a different group and dominated that half. So he said we know their quality. Those are the likes of that man, Coussons.
And of course, that was just a friendly game, but it gives you a chance to get a glimpse of what to expect. You know, the personnel, the system, the style of play that you're going to see now in a game like this, where it's a win-or-go-home situation. So the U.S. will be well prepared. They would have eyeballed this match as one that is a potential outcome for them. Of course, you were planning on winning the group, but you knew that this might be a possibility. So I think they would have done their homework, be well prepared. And right now you see they're weathering the storm a little bit. They're trying to feel their way into the game, but they have to just be...
Well, Diaby from distance is going to go for goal.
They have to make sure they don't lose their discipline. Right now they're getting caught chasing a lot. They don't have much of the ball. So it's important that they're disciplined defensively. As you see, Coussons sneaks by Keita there. Diaby finds the ball top of the box and just kisses that shot wide.
Well, back with Scott, he's pressured on his left foot. He's on to get that one clear, but again, Marcelo dominant in the air. These two sides have another familiarity in terms of Ukraine. The US dominated possession in that match earlier in the group stages and ended up losing. France had a similar outcome against Ukraine in qualifying. They dominated, but Ukraine picked up the win. So not saying that's going to be the approach for the US in terms of allowing France to have possession, but they can look to that and see this French team are beatable.
I think the biggest thing for this U.S. team is to show growth. In the first 3 games in the group stages, we saw a mixed bag. We saw a good performance against Ukraine, didn't get the result you wanted. We saw a really good performance against Nigeria, got the result. And then with the changed squad, we saw it, by all accounts, a pretty average performance by this U.S. team, but they got the result, kept a clean sheet. So you take the good with the bad. As you see Ledesma making a nice streak and run here.
Run into the box as well, that cross over here, but that was much better stuff from the US, and it was led by PSV midfielder Richie Ledesma.
You take the good with the bad from that group stage, realize that even when you didn't play at your best, you still won games. And now this is the real test. You have a changed squad. You're missing 2 of your key personnel from the first 3 games, but this is a chance for you to show your character, to show what everyone's been talking about with this group, the talent level, but not only the talent level, but that they can just do it at the highest level.
The skill from Kamara, but this time the US had it with Richards, who's been impressive as part of that defensive unit. Haven't conceded since the opening match against Ukraine.
Hey, be careful! Hey! Hey! Go!
Pressure on Paul McCall there with that ball just as in. The US win it back. Ledesma inside the area. Ledesma! First real opportunity for the US, and Richie Ledesma well positioned. And a little bit disappointed with himself that he couldn't find the target.
It's a good bit of pressure there from the U.S. Catches the French team's flat-footed. Ledesma finds the ball in the box. Caught between 2 minds. Should I lay it off away? He decides to go for the shot and just skips it wide. But good early signs there. Good bit of pressure. Ledesma's looked lively so far in this game.
Nice little press from Timothy Weah against several players I'm sure he's well aware of. Man who's come through at PSG, so a couple of his teammates involved in this squad, a couple of players who would have come up against in the youth system as well. Always an added edge when you're playing against players that you know.
Oh, bragging rights.
Yes.
You're going to go back and see them on a weekly basis or whatever the case is, and you need to be able to rub it in a little bit.
Again, the US trying to press and doing a good job of it, but equally good in the pressure is Coussons. Coussons initially broke through at Gladbach, but had a bit of a regression this year in terms of minutes on the field. Was still very talented. And good pressure from De La Fuente. Okay, Coussons just trying to break that pressure, and he wins the free kick against Gloucester. The US not sitting back, trying to stop the French as they play out of the back.
And as this game's worn on a little bit, you've seen a lot more of a connected unit as they press. At first, there were a little bit of openings in the midfield where they were still trying to work on their balance, but now you see when they're pressing high, when Pamakal's pushing up high, you see Chris Richards break the back line and step into midfield to apply that added bit of pressure. They just have to be careful because one blind pass could take advantage of Chris Richards stepping out of that line.
Diaby. Strong challenge that time from Keita stepping up, just as you talked about Chris Richards doing. Loidis. You can hear the encouragement from the coaching staff. He liked what he saw from Keita, but now it's Zagadou pushing forward. Looking in behind for Guri. Soto. Didn't start that first match, Sebastian Soto, but more of a natural number 9 presence since he's come into the side for the US.
Enzo, tu mets trop de temps, il te presse. Prends la formation, donne, et après tu rejoues.
First 15 minutes, there we see the possession count.
Very lopsided there, but I think that was kind of expected. We mentioned that beforehand, but you still see this U.S. team, despite not having the ball, they don't look bothered, they don't look heavily burdened. They're weathering the storm pretty well, playing connected, and when they have the ball, they just have to be clever with it.
Coussons winning that one back. Guri, good run in behind. Guri with the cross towards the far post. Fofana making the run in. That was good pressure on that occasion from the French, almost turned into a goal-scoring opportunity. Good play from Guri. Pomacau is dropping very deep to get possession. Richards looking for Ledesma. That time he's closed down well by Lodis. Zagadou back to the Fiorentina man, Alban Lafont. Been playing the last match. French using everybody bar the third goalkeeper in the group stages, so I don't think there was any drop-off in any game either. That tells you the tale. And Decker makes sweeping ball to this far side. Aloui, not well dealt with by Abubakar Keita.
They have to be careful trying to pass out of the back, because in these transition moments when the midfielders get caught up, the center back gets caught up, you see Guri sneaks that ball to the back post.
Fofana was the man making the run, wasn't far away from it. Diaby, not a great pass back into the path of Cousins now. The US could break. Paul McCall. Nice idea to play that one quickly. Weah up against Lloydis. Still Weah. Still Weah. Still Weah. He's almost in behind, and the goalkeeper came out, committed himself. That was lovely play by Timothy Weah.
This is what the fans came to see. So much talked about this young man here, and he creates something out of nothing there.
Wow, 2 defenders as well on him. It's a couple of signs that the US can offer on the counter-attack. Saw that earlier effort from Richie Ledesma as well. But now they've lost the ball, and they'll have to get back in transition defensively. Away, and well, that's a rather cynical challenge from Timothy Weah. Perhaps a necessary one as well, though.
Yeah, tactical foul. Desk gets caught out of position. Weah, attacking player. Here you see him splitting the 2 defenders. The keeper does well to come off his line. He still dinks it over him, but it's just defended well there.
Good recovery back in from the French, but now they're going forward for Fofana. Guri. Cousins on his left foot. Wasn't far away.
Cousins is a man who doesn't need a license to take a shot from distance. Tries to curl that one, but it's well wide.
Would have been nice to see that matchup with Mendes and Cousins today, too.
I was just thinking that.
Left-footed players.
2 talented left-footed players, 2 players who like to take strikes from distance, can dictate play.
Well, the hope is we'll have Alex Mendes back for the next match.
There you go. See, I like how you're thinking.
Still plenty of obstacles in the way of the US with this French team. And it's Zagadou now driving forward. Still Zagadou. That one played off. And Axel Zagadou. And out of play for the US goal kick. First 20 minutes, Mo, will Tab Ramos be content with what he's seen so far defensively from his team?
He'll be content. He hasn't had enough of the ball as he would like his team to have had. But in saying that, there haven't been too many dangerous chances, too many threatening chances where you'd say, we need more, we haven't been good enough. So, and then on the flip side, in transition moments like this, they've done a decent job of creating some chances, whether it's 1v1 plays, people taking the initiative themselves to create something, or the U.S. taking advantage of a numerical opportunity and catching players out of position. So first 20 minutes, it's a passing mark so far.
We are just 3 days away from the beginning of the FIFA Women's World Cup. You catch all the action across all of the Fox Sports networks. The first matchup, 2 p.m. Eastern on FS on Friday. The host France taking on South Korea. And our own Alexi Lalas predicting the French as potential champions.
Alexi.
The US looking to hold on to the crown. What a tournament that is shaping up to be. And our focus here on the U-20s, where the US possession has gone up slightly. Still being dominated by the French. Still no real panic in these US players so far. Master couldn't keep that one in play. Moussa Diaby already a member of that PSG first team at age 19. Zagadou. Little touch in for Fofana. Fofana from distance. Good hands from Scott. Stinging effort from Yusuf Fofana. Where? Errant pass from him. Guri. Good play here. Diaby looking for it. Keita had to make that interception. But the French are coming again. Moïdis, Diaby. Diaby gets it back. Diaby. Nice ball for Coussant on his weaker right foot. Still gets his cross in. And somehow Aloui puts that one over. Excellent approach play from the French. And probably should have had the opening goal from it.
This is where the U.S. could be in trouble. They have to be clever defensively through that midfield area. And when a center back steps out, the response has to be alert. They have to be alert. They have to work together. It's a good ball in by Coussant. Aloui just can't get it on the target.
Just a fraction behind him as well, wasn't it, for Aloui? The US coming the other way. First chance for Serginho Dest to get forward. Flicks that one in behind for Weah. Weah trying to pull it back. Good defending from Ndicka. Fofana. Coussant. Nice entry pass again for Diaby, who's been very influential in midfield so far. Moïdis, back for Diaby. Coussant. Trying to get it back on his left foot, he does just that. Moïdis. More patient approach here from the French. Kamara. Marcella. One back well by the US. And now Ledesma will lead the counter charge. Ledesma, lovely through ball. Soto in the clear, in on goal. Sebastian Soto has opened the scoring for the US. A lightning quick counter attack led by Ledesma, and Soto with that all-important opening goal.
And this all starts with a good defensive play by Brendan Cervena, but look at Ledesma, picks up the ball, no stopping him here. The timing of the pass is inch perfect, and as soon as Soto picks up this ball, he knows where he wants to put it. It's all about just getting it out of his feet, and he finds that back post with conviction, just curls it beyond the goalkeeper. Great bit of transitional play there by the U.S., and again, it starts with a great run through midfield by Ledesma, the man who came in to replace Alex Mendez in midfield. Great response there by the U.S. After being under the cusp for a little bit. We talked about the possession stats, but they've made their moment count when they got an opportunity.
Well, these two have played together in the development academy system in the U.S. as well. They have that understanding. Anybody who's watched them play over here, we've seen that before, but maybe not on quite the stage we've just seen it on now. But what an opening goal for the U.S. Soaking up pressure and a clinical counter. That is the very first time the French have gone behind in this tournament. Let's see the response. Ndicka, that one out of Timothy Weah, and they'll have a corner kick. Not the first time we've seen Weah happily go all the way back in and defend as well for the cause. Ahmed. Marching on, we're going to have a cooling break here because of the temperatures, but no, perfect opportunity to talk us through what we've seen so far. The US were hit with a similar performance from the Ukraine, who soaked up pressure, got that opening goal, and grew as the game went on. Seeing a very mature performance in that regard from the US here today so far.
Very mature in the sense that it's not easy to defend for 26 minutes. Being up against it, 76% possession for the French side, but as we keep saying, they don't look bothered. They look confident, they look organized, they look like they're disciplined, ready to work and willing to work. And here we see the goal again. Ledesma runs with the ball for a good 35 yards, and then it's the timing of the ball to split the center backs. And Soto, he says, give me a chance and I'll make the most of it. picks his target. Nothing the keeper can do with that one. But this U.S. team, they look comfortable. They look like they have a plan. And so far, it's worked out well for them. Look, Keith, we know that this French team can score goals, so they have to be cautious a little bit now these next 5 minutes. Get through that little bit of excitement, get through that little bit of rush. Because this French team, there's still areas to exploit. When Zagadou steps up into the midfield, that's created some problems for the midfield three of the U.S. How do they respond to that? How do they deal with it? Creating that number overload in midfield. So far they've responded very well.
Now for Tab Ramos, without two key midfielders, he's got to be very pleased. Sebastian Soto, couple of goals against Nigeria, a couple of clinical finishes in that game as well. Well, that really was ice cool from the Hanover man. That is for the US, a restart back with a corner kick for the French. Trying to get refocused here as they defend this one. Coussant's delivery in. Soto back in, helping defensively. Only as far as Coussant's. Referee Rafael Klaus from Brazil. Just holding proceedings here. That was roughly a 3-minute water break, so that'll of course add to the stoppage time in this first half.
Soto! Shift! Soto! Vamos!
Challenge from Dest. Up against Alloway. And Ledesma, a couple of flashes from him so far in possession. Talk about the strength and depth though for the French. The fact that Ledesma is starting for the first time shows you a bit of the strength and depth here for this US squad as well.
And you've talked to me a couple times about him, about the quality that he has. And we're seeing that so far. We're seeing that on display. He's enjoying this opportunity that's been given to him and making the most of it thus far.
Back from Ledesma, nice little entry pass looking for De La Fuente. He was just out-muscled there.
Be careful with the ball! Be careful with the ball!
Zagadou, good play from him. Alloway, lovely little give and go. Coussant. Diaby cuts inside, still Diaby. Trying to pull that one back for Fofana. Again, good defensively in those central areas from the US. Nice turn from Fofana. Lovely little ball from Loidis. And Gurney was in behind, but again, it was a very good challenge. Richards, a little bit of help defensively as well. US now going 250 minutes without conceding in the U-20 World Cup. We're on the front foot here. De La Fuente. Slovenia looking for that big switch and just overhit that one. Looking for Timothy Weah, who switched flanks.
250 minutes without conceding a goal, and I think a big part of that comes from Chris Richards back there. He's been a rock so far, not only with his play, but the way he organizes and commands the best out of that back line, especially with the absence of Mark McKenzie, the captain, who's normally his partner back there. He showed his athleticism to put out fires, his composure on the ball, and his willingness to put in tackles in last-ditch situations.
Oidis, back for Zagadou. Look at entry pass. Looking for Guri. Again, there's the man you just talked about. Richards. Looks that one how to play for the throw into the French.
Nice and easy.
Kamara now driving forward. Still Kamara, the centre-back. Still Kamara. There with a strong challenge from Abubakar Keita. And Slovenia looking to break the other way.
That's very good by Slovenia, because in that transition moment, when the center back stepped up, he had the opportunity to maybe clip his ankle, but he kept his composure, waited for the right time to pick at that ball, and then sprung the attack the other way.
Referee's whistle going here because Paxton Pomykal on the ground, just holding his lower back. This would be a real blow for the US, considering Mendes and Durkin already unavailable today. Edwin Soria, perhaps another option if necessary. Tal will be hoping the FC Dallas man is okay to continue.
He's had a good tournament so far, hasn't he? Good on the ball, his energy levels, his passing, cutting out defenders, splitting the passing lanes. You saw the lack of his influence in that game against Qatar.
Fact as well, 9 appearances already this season in MLS. He's become a part of that first team group under Richie Gonzalez.
Also just tweaks something there as he's reaching for the ball, but this is the play that I was talking about with Cervania, showing composure, because sometimes you reach in there, you just try to poke it and think that you have to make some kind of challenge on the ball, but he kept his composure there and then showed his strength, showed his endeavor to break the other way to start the attack for the U.S. team.
Well, the Women's World Cup just 3 days away. The French will be the host for that one. The opening game, France taking on South Korea, 2 p.m. Eastern on FS1. Take a look at the stats so far. 6 shots to 2 in favor of the US, but you could argue not just a goal. The US have had the next best opportunity as well with the Ledesma chance. Pomykal back on and looks to be okay to continue. Diaby. On that line, Basila with the cross. Well defended on that far side well from the US. So they're trying to hold on to it, but that's good defending from Kamara. Basila. In a searching cross, the header back in. Guri. 2 shots on his left foot, and that one off the outside of the woodwork. Mentioned his ability when he gets in those positions, and that was inches away from a leveler.
Oh, give credit to the big man there, keeping that play alive. And Cuisance just finds an inch of space between 3-4 U.S. defenders. Only denied there by the post. Could be wrong-footed Brady Scott. See him catch it with the inside of his foot. Tries to find that near post.
Soto doing well there, trying to hold that one up. He wins the US a free kick. Looking for De La Fuente. Best. Ball back in for De La Fuente. De La Fuente goes down. I don't think there was any question. There was a foul in there from Evan Ndika. Run back well by Serginho Dest. And the cross in. Timothy Weah trying to attack it. That was good defending from Kamara. Contact there between Evan Ndika and Richie Ledesma, who's just now getting back to his feet.
This is better by the U.S. A little spell of possession, keep the ball moving. And as I said, that they try to find a long ball over the top, but take a little bit out of the game a little. Make the French team chase. For 35 minutes of this game, the U.S. has been doing so much dirty running, so much hard work.
Nice turn by Guri. Equally good defensively from Dest. And there was a couple of issues in that first match, didn't he? Serginho Dest, where he was caught in behind, but since then, been very diligent defensively.
He's looked good today. There's a clever play there by Alaoui, but good recovery by Dest. Does the defensive duties there, shows some strength to fight through the contact. We all know he can go forward, that he can contribute, get into the attack, bombing forward, getting balls in the box. But there were just some question marks over him defensively, and so far he stood the test.
Throw in over the top. Soto had come a little bit deeper, so they'll be able to play for the goal kick to the French. Here again, the encouragement from the coaching staff. Come on, Tim, is the cry as Timothy Weah looks to close down. Lost it. Now a bit of space for Diaby. Diaby's got Guri on one side. Guri's in the clear. Guri in on goal. Scott comes out to close the angle. Oh, what a finish. It's a super leveler from Amin Guri. Just like Soto one end. Clinical from the number 9. And it's now 1-1.
And sometimes when you high press, it bites you. You see them get caught out of possession there, and then it's just a transition game. It's a foot race. Diaby draws Abou Keita into that central area, creating that opportunity, that space for Guri. And this man is clinical. Waits for Brady Scott to commit himself a little bit, and he picks that corner in the back post. But this whole play starts from the U.S. pressing. Being a little bit overly aggressive, Chris Gloucester tries to clear the ball into the middle of the park, and then it just starts to transition, and now this French team has found a way back into this game. They've had a large share of possession, but now they've got the equalizer. They're back into this game. A big ask again for this U.S. team.
First real defensive breakdown we've seen, Mo, from the U.S. have been very mature in the way they've handled things so far. And you can't give that man too much of a sniff in front of goal. Amin Guri, absolutely clinical. Had 4 goals in qualifying as well. Diaby, again he's driving forward. Coussons. Just trying to thread that out to that far side. Errant pass from him. Well read though by Dest. Look at that tracking back from Diaby.
For all their hard running, for all their press, that central area is still the space that can be exploited, that the French team is exploiting. Because the U.S. has 3 players in the midfield who all are willing to go and find the game, which is great, because when it works, it does work. The press is there, the high press of going and seeking and destroying. But when they're all getting stretched to the wing play, to the wing areas, or high up the pitch, to cold press the center back, there's a big gap in that midfield, and Diaby is finding so much joy in these little half spaces here, picking up the ball and then running up the back line. So whether it's Pamukal, whether it's Cervenia, they have to be a little bit more clever and a little bit more disciplined, especially as you see out the rest of this half. Because little 1-2s around you, that just can't happen. That can't continue to go on. You're using so much energy to chase this game and chase spaces, chase men. You have to be a little bit more clever and disciplined.
Zagadou, and there's that space again, just as you mentioned, and a good run forward on that far side by the goal scorer, Guri. They seem to have an extra gear in those positions, the French.
They lull you into a false sense of confidence. At times, it seems like, oh, they're just keeping the balls in their defensive end, don't worry about it. And as soon as you get sucked in and pressed too high, boom, one splitting pass, and they're on the counterattack.
Well defended by Richards, who's gone up higher than everybody. The clearance only going as far as Diaby. Coussons. The US doing a good job forcing the French to go all the way back. Strong play again from Zagadou.
Your hand.
Coussons. Fofana. Good movement and interchanging from the French attacking players. Modis.
Additional time, 3 minutes. Czas zaliczony do minimum 3 minuty.
Confirmation of those 3 additional minutes thanks to that cooling break midway through the first half. Diaby, well defended again by Serginho Dest. Ledesma almost caught in possession. He does give it away. Diaby, nice skill from Diaby, goes for goal. Well, that one a couple of yards over, but the spaces you've talked about, Mo, Diaby seems to be the one instigator in the middle of midfield for the French.
He's loving it. He's floating wide. He's just finding those little half spaces between the back line and the center midfielders, catching the ball on a half turn, and he's off. Whether it's creating a shot for himself or trying to slip a player through, he's finding a lot of joy in those little half spaces. See the 2 go up for the challenge there. Kamara just lands a little bit awkwardly on his back, but he's up.
Guri, and Keita had to come out quickly. He read that well, the Columbus Crew defender. Ledesma. Lovely balance in possession. He's won the free kick. A number of European clubs were after his signature. Elected to go with PSV Eindhoven. Club with a very good track record of bringing through talented players. striker with that clearance as he would have hoped over the head of Gloucester, and the French have possession again. Whistle. A goal from each number 9. First from Soto, second from Guri, has us level after 45 minutes. We're going to take a short break, but we'll be back with much more from Burgos.